We were talking about different strategies, right? Different authorization and authentication strategies, like particularly matrix-based and project-based authorization strategy. And we were about to start with RBAC strategy, right? Role-based strategy. We have installed a plugin yesterday, right? So let's look into this role-based access control strategy using this plugin. Let us choose this option now, a role-based strategy. So once you choose role-based strategy here, let's save it. And if you go here, you can see something like after selecting that option, you will see a new section here called manage and assign roles. Can you all see that? This you will see only after selecting, choosing that option or back role-based strategy. Now, here you can create the roles. Like I have the admin role, right? So admin is having all the permissions throughout. See here, when you put your cursor, overall admin role is already there. I would like to create another role called employee role, like other employees, right? Let's say he should have overall read and overall read on jobs. Okay. I'm just giving this overall read for him on the jobs. This is a global roles, like roles across Jenkins. And you can also define item roles. Like you can choose which job should have which roles assigned. Okay, they can follow some pattern. You can add that pattern, which jobs should match. Let me do one thing. I'm just saving this. And I would like to create some
Preeti,
jobs.
one doubt.
Hmm.
When we give overall read, that means already the job read also is it present in that?
Job read, overall read will not have job read. In the job section, we should provide overall read. Job
Okay.
section, we should
Here,
again provide role, read.
here overall read means then
The job dashboard, everything else. First, he should see this dashboard, right? Otherwise, yesterday someone posted in the group. They got overall read missing. He could not see anything. Who
yes.
is that? Yesterday someone posted that error.
That's me, Chandan.
Yeah, yeah. So if you don't give that read, overall read, you will not see anything, at least dashboard also.
That ma'am, I'm not able to fix that. So after class, probably please go through that.
Sure. Right. I just want to create some jobs. Like your jobs may follow certain pattern. Let's say you have a job which is compile job, which is developers were taking care of it. Let's say you may put, let's say, developer underscore compile. Let's say related to develop project. Okay, let's use this freestyle. Just a sample job. I'm not doing anything. I want for the pattern. Let me select, let's say there is some test related job. Test compile. Okay, I have created some jobs which starts with the dev and test. Now I would like to assign this item roles. Like if I go here to manage and assign item roles, a role to add. Like here I would like to add a developer role. Let's say developers are there. He should see everything that begins with the dev. Okay. I have added here the pattern came up. Show matching. If you click this, it will show whatever jobs are matching this. Means this whoever assigned this developer role will have permissions on develop jobs. Means jobs whichever listed here. Whichever matches this part. Means anything starting with dev should be. So what permissions I mean because it's a developer, all permissions on this jobs which starts with develop. As of now, there is only one. You may have so many. Making sense, everyone? Similarly, I would like to add another role as tester. He should see everything related to, that begins with test. Right? He should see all of this here. He should have
Okay.
all permissions on test job. And here, if you see, the matching means if you assign this tester role to any user, he will have all permissions on test jobs. Tell me.
See, here you are giving the role as developer or tester. So do we have to create them before or just we can give any name that we want?
This is what is before. I'm giving some roles here. These roles will be assigned to the users. You give any role of your choice here. And assign roles. I created the roles. So for the first time when you create the role, you decide and give any name of your choice. That is first time. Now, global roles. Let's suppose I want to add, what is a global role we have? Admin. Oh, employee. Yeah, here it is. Employee. Roles were here. Do you see? Employee and admin. Now, yes, add the user one. I have another user, right? Yesterday we created 2 users. These are just employees. They are not admins. Okay, of course, everyone is an employee, but yeah, I just want to say this admin user means who log in as this one is admin, others are employees. Then item role. See here you see the roles. Do you see? Developer, tester. If you keep the cursor, it shows what all the permissions he will get. Now add the users. User 1. Add another user. User 2. Now user 1, let's say, is a developer. User 2 is a tester. Now making sense? Now user 1 is a, who is user 1? Developer. User 2 is a tester. Now let's see what happens. Why he is seeing everything? Oh, okay. Test also 1 minute. Okay. See, he has overall read. So he was seeing them. But only develop job, he has all permissions. If you go to anything else, he has only view permissions. Overall view, that's all. That's what is overall read. Got it, all of you? Only this job, he has got all the permissions. Clear? So if you log in as user 2 and user 2 belongs to which role?
Tester role.
Tester. So he should have, user 2 should have all permissions on this test job. Let's log in as user 2. He could see everything, but see, he has got all permissions on test, but different permissions. Means it is, this strategy is like a combination of matrix based and project based. Here every person is having different permissions on each job, but again they were having a role, so that which jobs he should have access, that was handled via role, which is like a combination of both project based and matrix based, and this is the one which is used in reality. Even we use this strategy in our projects. Clear, everyone? Any questions now or any confusions? So this is what is rollbacks strategy. Any questions? These patterns you can create. These are regular expressions. You can use wild characters to match the job names and select the patterns. Generally, yeah, let's suppose you have some 10 projects. All of them is managed by this Jenkins. We may put all the job names prefixed with that project name, right? So that way you can choose some pattern and assign the permissions, create the users.
In real time, how it would be the naming convention and all.
That's what I just said. Like you have 10 projects, meaning you may have, let's say, in each project, you may have, let's say, 5 jobs. There may be prefix with a job. Like one project name is ABC compile, or else another project name is XYZ test job and all. Project, your job name could be prefixed with a job name. Sorry, your job name could be prefixed with a project name. Accordingly, you can write the pattern. You can refine them to any level. Like, see here, developer means he has got all permissions. He is developer to this, but still, again, there might be different roles like developer read only. Isn't it? He is a developer, but he is a fresher. Okay, you should see only this. You can add another role. He is a developer. We already have this pattern. What happened? One second. Another role called developer read permissions. Pattern is okay. Now he should have only read. Maybe he's a developer, but he's a fresher. Understood. Developer means yes, full all permissions. Otherwise, this role. You can assign it if you have user 3. Making sense? That's how you can create roles depending on your projects. Here we are creating freestyle projects. It might be pipeline type of job, just the type of job will change, right? You may have so many jobs. You can also put them into the folders. We'll see that later. You can organize them into the folder as per the project. That's about the next strategy. Any questions about the strategies? Everyone good? All right. So now that we have seen the strategies, let's look into another important automation. Till now, if you notice, we are running the job by clicking on build now, isn't it? Clicking on build now means you are starting the build manually, right? Started by user admin, like because I have logged in as admin user. You are you are logged in as admin. So it says started as user admin. Means it's a manual build. Can we automate this part? That's what is called build triggers, automatic build triggers. How can we automate these triggers? There are different ways you can trigger the builds automatically. The first one is through poll SCM. Sorry, the first one, let's say through timer kind of means you may set some time. Every day the job should run at some particular time, right? So that's a timer. Irrespective of anything else, your job runs like every day, 8 o'clock, something like that. That's the first type of trigger. Second type is poll SCM. Poll means watch. SCM means source code management repository. Like we were talking about it, right? Whenever developer make a change, it should pull the code and run the code. That's what is this poll SCM. Whenever there is a commit, your job should run. Or else there is another thing like webhooks. It also does the same. We'll see the difference. And another trigger is start a job by another job. Means one job will be triggered by another job. Okay, these are the different triggers you have got. Timer, Polisium, webhooks, or trigger by another job. Let's look into each one by one, right? Let's begin. Let's say, yeah, this is the one I have. Or else let's take anything. Okay, so now this job will execute whenever I click on build now. But let's say I just want to run this at some regular interval. Go and edit the job. You have another section called build trigger section. Go to build triggers. See here it shows different options. The one you should choose is build periodically. What is build periodically? You have a question in the help. If you click on this question mark, it will show you the help text. It says provides a cron-like feature to periodically execute this project. This helps you to execute your job at a regular intervals like cron tab in Linux. If you are Linux person, you might be heard about cron tab, right? Cron tab is a Linux syntax where you will set some timer according to the time it will execute. right? It's nothing but how it works also, it's there, help. If you click on the schedule, the field follows the syntax of cron. Okay, maybe small differences might be there. It will have 5 tabs: minutes, hours, day, month, and week. So it takes 5 tabs. Here I'm not showing you the cron syntax. There are cron syntax generators. Depending on it, you can use. I'm just adding a simple syntax. I just want to run my job every 2 minutes. Of course, we don't put every 2 minutes. We may put some 1 hour or some timing we can give. And for our test, I'm just giving every 2 minutes. First one is minutes. This is first tab every minute, every 2 minutes. Second tab every hour. Sorry, every hour, every month, every day, every week, right? So that it will execute every 2 minutes. If you save it, your job will run every 2 minutes automatically. If you want to try different cron syntax, okay, you don't worry, you have the syntax generators here. Okay, here if you put, like, what did we give? star/2. Okay, this is actually a Linux concept. See, this is every 2 minutes, every second minute. Okay, it will also show you when this happens. Okay, this is a thing. See, next thing happens at 7:54, it says, right, and so on. It can give you the timing, like when it works. Similarly, let's say I want to run every 12 hours, let's say. Right, every minute past 12th hour. Here you can see next when it happens. See, it gives you when you do this, right? Every 12th hour. Here it is showing you when it runs, right? This is how you can play with this experiment different timings. Here I have given this. And when you see next, it says 7:54, 7:56, 7:58, 8:82, and so on. Do you see that? So this is how cron works.
Yeah, I have a question here. So for every value, we need to add star before that.
Hmm.
For every value, we need to add star before that.
For everyone.
Every value.
It's not mandatory. If you want every hour, that means star. See, star means any value. You can use comma, hyphen, slash. It depends on like how you want to configure. This is step value, means every 2 minutes.
Okay. And hyphen for range, right?
Like every 12 minutes means /12. See, every 12th minute. And it was also showing you. See, 8, 8:12, 8:24. Do you see that? 8, 8:12, every 12th minute.
Okay.
Like here, I'll give every 1 hour. Okay, every minute past 1 hour. So 7:55, no, it was giving you every minute, I think. Every minute. This is, okay, here I have given every, right? Now see, 8, 9, 10. Do you see that? 0. Not it's every minute, it's every hour. So 8, 9, 10, 11, it works for every hour. Got it?
Okay.
So that's how you can use. And see, now build started. I did not run that third build. If you go and see here, it clearly tells you, right, started by timer. Right? Can you see here, started by timer? Right, earlier it used to show us like started by some user, but now started by timer and timer executed it. Right, actually it was a date file here. Let me show you on this. A date file should be created every 2 minutes. See, build happened 2024. It's 1 minute 53 seconds. In another 2 seconds, another build will start. See, now fourth will started and 1.9 seconds ago. And again, it tells you started by timer. Got it, everyone? What this timer kind of job does? I mean, trigger does? See, 224, 226, and so on. Here, if you see, it is under TMP, right? We were creating date.txt. See, it might have been added today. 224, 226, Friday, September. 224, 226, this one. 224, 226, 228, and so on. Understood, everyone? This is one type of triggers. This is used for routine kind of jobs. Means, let's say you have some batch jobs, you have some routine kind of jobs, you have jobs which you need to run some business of business hours, right? At that time, you may use this timer. Irrespective of anything, it just runs blindly every 2 minutes. Maybe some cleanup tasks, right? For those things, you may use this timer. Clear with this, everyone? It tells you 1 minute 4 seconds. There's a bill happened 1 minute 17 seconds. Now within 40 more seconds, it should start next bill. Right? So this is one type of trigger. There is another type of trigger called poll SCM. What is this poll SCM? I'm creating a new job to see this. Job 3, freestyle. Let's get some repository. I'm using a dummy repository called repo2. How do you integrate Jenkins and Git? Here you should see Git option. I'm not seeing this. Why I'm not seeing this option? Plugins are missing, right? Default plugins. Actually, those are default plugins, but because we have plugins missed yesterday, I have to install this. Otherwise, there's a default plugin. Git. This plugin integrates Git with Jenkins. Let us install this. Okay, it is installed now. Let's go here. Job 3. Configure. Yeah. Do you see this now? Likewise, if you want any other tool, you have to install a plugin. You may integrate it with TFS or whatever. You can install that particular plugin. Git will be there by default if you have installed the more widely used plugins, but yesterday we missed it. So later on, this is how you can install any plugin. All right, now select this. Okay, give the repository you want to work on. So I have given the repository. I'll tell you this error in few minutes. So I have added the repository. Now, what it does is it will clone this repository, and it should, in the build step, I may choose some Maven step which will compile or a test and so on. But we did not learn Maven yet. So I'll just put this code means it should clone. This job will just clone the repository. That's all. First, understand what this job does. I'll talk about trigger later. So what this job will do, if you put the repository means it will just clone, that's all. But why do you need a job to clone? Actually, my job is after cloning, I may test, I may run the test cases, I may compile it and all, but we did not learn Maven, so I'm creating only till this part. Is this point clear for everyone? Next thing is, if not clear, please speak up, okay? So it is saying Git command not found. It's because if Git is not there on the Jenkins server, it will give you. See, let us install Git. Okay, now. Okay, now you don't see that error. Fine. So this is first thing. Now it will clone. But where it will clone? Where will it clone? When you run the job, into which location it will clone? Okay, first tell me on which server it will clone.
Jenkins server?
Jenkins server. But in which path, which location? That's
Workspace.
what is, yeah, Jenkins home directory. X-ray, we have seen Jenkins home directory, right? Var lib Jenkins. So here you will see a lot of folders, out of which there is something called workspace. Inside the workspace, if you go, see, there are folders by the same name of the job. Means whenever you create a job and run a job, a directory by the same name will be created in this workspace. All that job will be processed in that directory. So it will create a directory called job3 and it will clone there. For the first time, it will clone. If you rerun it again and again, it will do a pull. Isn't it? That's a concept, right? It will do the clone. If repository is there, it will pull. Okay, that's how it works. Now, so if I save it and if I run, that's what it does. But what I want is, I want to do this whenever there is a commit here. Okay, not that I'll go and build it. I want to do this whenever there is a commit. So then I'll choose something called poll SCM. Poll source code management system. See, configure Jenkins to poll changes in SCM means source code management system means your Git or Bitbucket, GitHub or Bitbucket. Again, it is asking for schedule. Why do we need a schedule for this? We said it should run whenever there is a commit. But then why do you need a schedule? Schedule is not to run the job, but to watch the changes here. It should watch the changes. It should poll this repository. Watch it. When it should watch? Every 2 minutes. Got the point and the difference, everyone? Your job will not run every 2 minutes, but it will watch and it will run whenever there is a commit. And how does it identify? It will compare this is called local. When it creates job 3, that's called local. It will compare that with this remote. If there is any difference, it will pull. Understood? Your workspace works like a local repository. This works like a local repository. It will compare this with the remote. Whenever there is a change, it should work. Am I making sense? Understood? I'm showing the changes again. Clear with the job? Trigger
Yes.
understood, everyone.
Okay, I have a question.
Confirmation from everyone. Tell me, please.
So when you say every 2 minutes, which means Jenkins will look at the SCM every 2 minutes if there is any changes.
It will watch every 2 minutes even though there are no changes. That's what it's watching every 2 minutes. Whenever there is a change, it will run. Okay, it executed. That's what we are seeing. Now, could not find the revision to build because revision means branches. It has got main. In the job configuration, they'll be by default configured as master. See what you should give because there's no master branch. It's called main. That's why it failed. It could not find it. Now, again, it should. It failed. Has it created the directory? Yes, it has created because it is executed, but it doesn't do any clone. Do you see that? Nothing. Now I think it came up. No, it has created local repos, but it doesn't do clone. It doesn't pull any files. Let's wait. Let's see. Because it doesn't find the branch. 2:34, 1 minute, 5 seconds ago. In 2 minutes, it will watch. It will compare. This is like a local repo. Do you see .git? Because it's trying to clone, but the clone failed because it couldn't find master branch. So this is your local repository. This job 3 is a local repository. It will compare with this remote every 2 minutes. If there is any this is update, right? So many commits were not there. So obviously it should pull in 2 minutes. First time it will clone, next time onwards it will be a pull. You may be asking why you are just cloning and pulling the repo. Like I said, it's incomplete job. After pulling, we may have to run some maven commands through the job. That also we'll see. But for now, yeah. See, 1 minute 53 seconds, like build started. Let's wait. Okay, it is successful. And if you see here, yeah, varlib Jenkins, that's a workspace it was showing, and it says it has got the changes. Let's see. Right, it has got everything now. It has cloned it now. Now, when will be the next build happen here? When will be the third build? Will it
Now.
happen in 2 minutes?
No,
When will the next build happen?
when there is change in the
That's all.
repository.
Whenever there is a commit here means whenever there is an update which is not there in the local, which is local git, which is a workspace, it will make a pull. Let's wait for 1 more minute. It's almost 53 seconds. Even though it crosses 2 minutes, there won't be a build. Let's see. Meanwhile, have a look at the other job, which is job 2. See here, do you see that? We started here 2, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36. It just keep on running irrespective of what may happen, right? Blindly with a timer, right? Also here, TMP. Let me show you the file. TMP date.txt. See, do you see that? Every 2 minutes it was up because that task is about updating this file. Correct? Now coming back 10 more seconds. Do you see here it crossed 2 minutes, 5 seconds, but there is no build. Got the difference between timer and poll SCM. Now I'll make a change here. Like I'm adding a new commit. Okay, so this is the one. Now let's see. It crossed 2 minutes 40 seconds, but there is no build. But now we had a commit in job 3. There is no such file, right? It should update it. There is no test file. Git polling log shows you the like the last build information.
Can you see the build number 2 output? Okay, by looking at these output, how can I understand whether this is pulled or not? I mean, this is checked, pulling the repository or not?
It was showing you, right, fetching upstream changes from here. Checking out the revision, the branch from where it is getting. Yeah, build 3 started. Build 1 failed because of the branch. Started by an SCM change. See, earlier second one used to say started by timer. But now it says started by an SCM change means source code management. So it says it was building in this workspace, fetching the upstream changes, fetching changes from remote git repository. It's clearly telling you it was getting the changes from here. Now if you just go here, also here you should also see the commit. See, this commit text, that's a commit message I have given. This commit is the one which started this build. Also, you should see the update. Yeah, this is the one which is not present before. Understood? Actually, like I said, you should pull and write some maven commands to build or compile or do something. This is the poll SCM kind of trigger and the difference between the normal timer and the poll SCM. Hope you got the difference, right? Now let's look into another interesting part, like another interesting trigger, which is webhook. Let me create a new job 4. I'm using the same repository. Git here also it's incomplete job, just the repository. Okay, it should create another workspace folder called job 4. And now here let the branch name is main, right? And so here again I'm not seeing webhook option because of the plugins. Plugins are missing. We should be seeing something like GitHub webhook trigger. We'll install a plugin first. That's the reason we install the default plugins in the beginning. Everything is a plugin. Okay, let me go with that plugin as well. Search under available plugins. GitHub webhook plugin. In webhook, allow build pipelines to wait for from external system before continuing. Actually, we install all of them by default. GitHub webhook. Actually, the name might be GitHub webhook trigger. Let me search for GitHub. This plugin integrates GitHub run source, GitHub source, GitHub hook trigger for Git SCM polling. We need something for generic webhook. I think this is the one. But that is generic, it seems. Let's see the documentation. It opened another page, that's all. Okay, let me take to the documentation. This is a general one. We will have something related to GitHub. Let's say Git SCM polling. Let me try out this GitHub. Let me install this and see. Okay. Now let's see our job. Did I create job 4? Okay. Configure. Yeah, this is the one. Okay. When we install GitHub plugin, we got it. Actually, like I said, these are all default ones. In the beginning, if all of them were successful, we don't install all of these separately. But that's okay. So GitHub webhook trigger. Okay, if you select this option, you should do some changes here. Go to the repository, settings. Okay, here you will see something like webhook. What is a webhook? Webhook allows external services to be notified when certain events happen, when the specified events happen. like let's suppose whenever there's a commit here, you want the Git repository, means whenever there's a commit, I want to run the job. Same like poll SCM only, but the difference is here, in poll SCM, your Jenkins is watching the repository every 2 minutes or whatever timer you give there, right? It is an overhead on the Jenkins server because it has to keep watching it. This webhook will inform Jenkins in the reverse way, means both does the same, but the way they work at the backend is different. Webhook is it will inform Jenkins for any events that happen here. Okay, you may give the Jenkins URL, go to add webhook. Okay, it will ask for password when you create a webhook. Here you should give the payload URL. Payload URL means which URL it should notify. So that's your Jenkins URL. Okay, and then the it should be suffixed with GitHub webhook, right? That's all. Add the webhook. By the way, one more thing. See, there it was showing what it should be notified. You can choose it and it is created. Also save this now. GitHub webhook. So whenever there is a commit, it will trigger. Actually, initially these are also commits, right? There were some already commits which were not there in the local repository, so it should run. It should be successful. So your GitHub, see, it says last delivery was successful. It doesn't trigger, but it's saying last delivery successful. Let's see. So also see here, come out of job 3. Where lib Jenkins workspace. You may go for job 4. Job 4 is not yet created, means it's not yet executed. Let's wait. Get the main branch and GitHub web trigger. Let's wait. It should execute. So this is what is webhook does. Understood, everyone? It should trigger the job in few minutes. Let's wait. But this is the concept. Actually, not only the commits, let's say merges also you want to be informed by Jenkins. You can also choose the events. Whenever you create a webhook, I'm creating once again. See here which events you would like to trigger the webhook. Push means commits, right? So that's what I have chosen. Suppose you want to choose anything else or everything, you can choose these options. Individual events also you can select. Like whenever branch is created, you want it to be notified. You can do all of that as well. Generally, whenever there is any push, we'll choose it. And that's how this webhook is created. In some time, it should trigger. Maybe it was taking time. Let's wait for a couple of minutes. These are the different ways of the triggers: timer, poll SCM, webhook. So now that you understood the difference between timer and poll SCM, what is the difference between poll SCM? I mean, which one is best method? Poll SCM or webhook? Which one should we go with?
Webhook.
Webhook.
That is again important interview question. We'll be using webhooks in real time. All our projects have, all our pipelines have got webhooks configured. Like functionality wise, that's the difference. These are the questions to check your real-time experience. Which one you are using, why you should use webhook, why not poll SCM, where do you use poll SCM? Maybe for smaller projects, or if you want to just check that quickly or do something whenever there's a commit. But for reliable option, if you are Jenkins, so you want to remove the overhead on Jenkins, in reality, we should go with webhook. I think it's taking some time.
Preeti, one quick question. When you say in the real-time webhook is used, Is that only for lower and dev environment?
Real time
Or
means production I'm
all?
talking about.
Okay, production environment, as soon as we push anything, it should display, I mean, it should deploy to
It should
prod.
trigger the pipeline. Okay, let's say it should trigger the pipeline. It's not straight away commit will push to deploy. Meanwhile, so many stages are there, right? Like compiling, testing, then deploy to lower environments, then to the production. So whenever there is a change, pipeline should trigger. Understood?
Yeah.
We did not start our pipelines yet. Okay, so these are the three types of triggers. The another one is trigger one job by another job. Means in the pipeline, let's say compile job. Once this is done, it will trigger the next job and so on, right? That kind of trigger we'll see once we get started with our pipelines. These are the three types of triggers. Tell me. Are you saying something, anyone? It should trigger the job. Pollings has not run it. Yeah. So these are about the triggers. We'll see the fourth trigger again. Okay, like when we start the pipeline. After looking into the triggers, we have seen the strategies like authentication strategies, authorization strategies. Now we can talk about the actual pipeline. In this course, or else till now, like we have learned Git, we were learning Jenkins. Okay, few things we have learned. Now we can create a pipeline which will have these tasks. I'm just giving you an overview of the pipeline we are going to discuss. Whenever developer write the code, I need a pipeline which will pull the code, compile it, which will execute some unit test cases, and then which will package the code and which will deploy it to the test environment. So the first job in our pipeline is going to be compile, unit test. What is meant by unit test? And then package, and then deploy to, let's say, QA environment. This is the pipeline we are going to create initially. We'll take a code base, we'll take an application, a project available on GitHub. So whenever developer make a commit to GitHub, we know, like whenever developer make a commit, how to pull the code, we know, right? Now we should know, pull the code and compile it, execute unit test cases, package the job and deploy to QA environment. So before creating them, let us understand what each job does. What is meant by compiling? We already discussed it, I think, yesterday, but this is the one we are going to create now. So let's revise the things. What is meant by compiling? And also, first we'll take up an application, a Java application, which is using Maven as a build tool. So now tell me what is compiling. Converting the source code into executable, right? Means there is a repository where developers have created .java files. This first job should convert them into .class files. That's a first job, or that's a first task in our pipeline. How to do it, we'll learn. Okay, first learn what it is, then we will learn how to do. Okay, then what is meant by unit testing? Anyone from testing? What is unit testing? See, unit testing is the first or the fundamental level of testing, right? This is generally done by developers. Means you may be asking why developers will test, testers are the one. Developers also test themselves. That's called unit testing. Means see, whenever they write the code, they should test whether it is working or not, right? That's a fundamental or the first level of testing, the basic kind of testing where they test the individual programs. Developers write those test cases. Those test cases might be again automated test cases. They might be in JUnit or whatever it is, right? So those test cases will be placed on the GitHub repository along with the source code. See, I'm explaining this here. Later on, you should not be having confusion. Where are those test cases? Who write those test cases? Java files on GitHub. On the same GitHub, you'll have unit test cases. On the same repository, you will have unit test cases. So the second job will execute it. Clear with the first and second job?
But what does that unit test will do?
Execute the unit test case. It will test the programs, test the code they have written.
Okay.
And once this is done, I want to package the code. Like all the code will be converted into single ready to be deployable file. It depends, like which format depends on the code written by developers. In our case, it's going to be a var file. Like, do you remember we downloaded sample var file? Similarly, it should create this job will create a var file. Okay. Once that var file is there, you can deploy it. Like we have learned, right? On the Linux server, we install Tomcat and deploy, and then the deploy job. But this is a deploy job, which is a kind of old method, traditional way. If you want to deploy it in the DevOps methodology, we containerize it. So till we learn Docker containers, this will be on hold. But till packaging, we can create now with the tools we have learned. Of course, we need one more tool, Maven. But these are the 3 jobs we can create as of now. So clear with the 3 jobs, what each job does. If you understand what each job does, we'll see how to create each job. So these are the 3 jobs. Now how to create them. Also, first question is, how many times you will compile every day? How many times you will run this pipeline every day, and how many times you have to do this compilation?
When the code changes, we will.
Whenever there's a commit, means multiple times a day you have to compile. So you can't do this manually, right? See, because there were so many ways you can compile. You may compile the code using some scripts. You may compile using the editors as well, like VS Code editor. The IDEs you can use for compile. So many ways are there, but I want it whenever there is a commit. So yeah, obviously we'll put some PolSCM or webhook so that whenever there's a commit, it will compile. So I don't want to do this manually. I mean, I want to use an automation tool. So that's where comes build automation tool like Maven. This is actually a developer tool. Okay, build automation tools are developer tools, but as a DevOps person, to understand the flow, whatever is needed, we will learn it. You don't need to do coding for this. Okay, so we'll be using some build automation tool like Maven. What is a build automation tool? It's nothing but which can automate different phases of your SDLC, like compiling, packaging, testing. All of that can be automated by this build automation tool. Not only that, it does much beyond that. It can manage dependencies of the project. Again, if you ask me what are dependencies, if you are having some background like development, you might be aware. If not, don't worry. Dependencies are like, let's say my project needs some external libraries, right? So all those dependencies you should download whenever there is an upgrade. All of that will be taken care by this Maven. Just understand it will maintain the project. It will maintain the dependencies. It will download the plugins required. All of them will be taken care by Maven. Any build automation tool. Okay, like I said, it has got
Ma'am, is it same like Ansible for the configuration manager automation tool, ma'am?
No.
Or is it only for this kind of the Java developers, or like developers only this Maven
It
is
is
used?
for maintaining different or automating different stages of the project. That's all. Ansible is completely a different tool.
Okay.
To compile the project, to run the test cases, to package the project, all of that are done with this build automation tool. It's called a developer tool. Let's say, okay, code is present. 1 second, give me a second, please.
It means like the code is already created in Java tool or something, and in Java developer or in the Visual Studio, and then after that it need to be compiled and tested. We use this Maven tool, right? Ma'am? Hello.
Yes, correct. Developers will write the code to compile their code, to package their code, to automate that process. They'll use some build automation tool. Right? And so to compile it, they might be using some build automation tool. Which build automation tool, right, depends again, it's a developer's call. Because like I said, it's a developer task. So it's their call whether to use Maven. There were so many build automation tools. All the tools work with the same concept, same analogy, right? They may be using Maven and Gradle, whatever, depending on the requirements, depending on how their project is. Here in our case, we are going to choose a project with Java Maven, means they have chosen Maven, right? So if they have chosen Maven, they'll be using this to automate these tasks. And whenever they choose a build automation tool, every build automation tool will need a build file. For Maven, it's called pom.xml. POM means project object model. XML is extensive markup language. This file is required, means there will be a build file required for any build automation tool, which will have all the information of how it should work. This POM file also will be created by developers. Okay, you just need to know what is this file, what it is doing, that's all. Developers will be creating this POM file as well. It will be also present on the same GitHub repository along with the source code, along with the test cases. Understood what GitHub will have? The repository means developers should share us the source code. Source code means .java files, unit test cases, the build file for the build automation tool they have used. Is this much clear, everyone? Right? So yes, build file is there. The project is ready now. You can use Maven to compile it. Like there were some commands. Maven means like we install Git and Jenkins, you can install Maven on the server. Once you install Maven, there are commands like mvn compile, mvn test, mvn package, and so on. These are the commands, Maven commands, like you have Git or any other commands, right? And what is meant by this compile, test, and all? How do you know that? These are called goals or targets in Maven. What is that called as? Goal or target. Okay. So you have to define that goal or target. Like I'll say mvn compile. Those are predefined. It's not that your wish you put something. Those are predefined and they'll be provided by developers. Generally, these tasks will be done by developers. If you have to do it, DevOps teams have to do it, they will share those goals and targets. But I'll just give you an overview what happens at the backend. Whenever you run this command, first it goes to the POM file. POM file is like a heart for Maven. Okay, it goes to the POM file and every goal will be executed by the plugins at the backend. These are Maven plugins, not Jenkins plugins. Okay, Maven is also plugin based. It also uses plugin framework. Okay, it will use the it will do everything with the plugins. Which plugin to use will be there in the POM file. It will download those plugins from the Maven central repository. This is not a Git repository, Maven central repository, from where it will download all the plugins and it will execute the task. Understood? I'm repeating, whenever you run Maven command, it will go to the POM file, get the plugins, which plugins it should use to execute this goal, download the plugins from Maven central repository and executes the task. Right? Like compile means there is some Maven compiler plugin. Okay, that plugin information will be present in POM. Similarly, test means it will execute the test cases. Your test cases may be written in JUnit or Selenium, whatever it is. The respective plugins which it should download, either it is JUnit plugin or Selenium plugin, will be there in POM. It will download the plugins and it will use it. Right? Making sense, everyone? So depending on the plugin, the goal will vary. Let's say it's a test goal or compile. Suppose they use some other plugin, this goal may be different. Means let's say they have used some, see, they can also do code review via Maven, right? There were some plugins which does the code review. Okay, this is all general information you should know. There were some plugins like PMD, means program mistake detector, or find bugs to review the code. Means if any syntax errors, any errors are there, this is the plugin. If they want to do code review, there might be a goal like PMD:PMD. If they use PMD plugin, if they use find bugs, goal may be something else. So goal depends on the plugins they have used. Okay, there will be again official documentation. Those goals are predefined depending on the plugin they choose. So they will know the goals. They should provide us with the goals. Am I clear with this flow? You don't need to know programming or anything. We are not talking about programming. We were just talking about you want to execute different phases on your project, like compiling, testing, packaging, cleaning, or code review kind of. For that, you will use build automation tool. Build automation tool commands will have goals. Those goals are targets, depends on the plugins used. That plugin information will be present in POM file. Okay, whenever you run Maven command, that command will go to the POM file. It will get the plugin information. It will download the plugins dependencies from the Maven central repository and it executes the task. Only concern for you is goal or target. That depends on the plugin they have chosen and configured. So they will provide us with the goals. Is this flow clear? Any confusions? Any questions?
There's one question here. You're using the two terminology here, plugins and dependencies. Are these are same or different?
Different. Plugins means like add-ons, like we have seen Jenkins. Dependencies are, let's suppose my Java project is about sending an email. Before sending an email, it want to retrieve some data from an Excel file. The emails are present in an Excel file. So there might be another API or another code which fetches the data from the Excel file. So instead of you writing all the data, there might be external libraries you can add to your project. Those are called dependencies of your project, which will be taken care by Maven. In a development, these are called dependence libraries or APIs which they can download. You don't need to understand that, just general information. Our point is running these Maven commands. In the Maven commands, this part is called goal. How do you write the goal? There is again separate syntax for it, and it all depends on the plugins. right? Just you need to understand it depends on the plugin used. Depending on what you want to do, the goal varies. So these goals will be provided by developers. First, see, we will do hands-on on this so that you will get much clarity on what I have explained. I have explained that whenever you run the command, it goes to the POM, it downloads the dependencies, right? Let me show you that practically so that you'll get more clarity. On this instance, let us install Maven. We don't have Maven here. Let us install Maven. Maven installation is very simple. On the same Jenkins server I'm doing. Okay, so let us install Maven. Maven is there. You can install using install Maven. Confirm with yes. Okay, so Maven is installed. If you want, you can check Maven version. It's NVN. Right? See, Maven is installed in this path USR share Maven. That's where Maven is installed, and it was using this Java 17. And yeah, okay, it's fine. Now I want to use this Maven to compile some project. So we are going to use some repository which is present on GitHub. Okay, this is an address book application, a Java Maven application. See, address book, it is some address book application. There is some information about the project. It's an open source project. We have created some 15 branch on it. Just let's go with the master branch. Ignore this Terraform code and all. We did not discuss this or 1 minute. We will add them, okay, as we go by. For now, we are not using Terraform. We are not using any Kubernetes also. Later on, we'll add all of them, okay? Unnecessary files I'm deleting. Unnecessary as of now. Okay. So, okay, leave this and yeah. See, this is the source code. Like I was saying, they'll provide us with the source code, right? Java files, .java files. Do you see that .java? Right, that's a source code is present in the source folder. Maven follows a particular directory structure. All the source code resides here. And any test case will be present in the test folder. They have written some unit test cases, right? So these are all the again .java files where they have got the unit test cases. Unit test cases are again written by developers. Here they have used JUnit framework. If someone into testing, you can understand them. They were simple test cases. Right? Test sort employee name is sending, test sort employee name, some unit test cases. So unit test case were also present in the same repository in the test folder. That's a predefined directory structure which Maven uses, right? And yeah, that's about it. And yes, here is the POM file. I told you, right? Maven uses POM file. Developers will create this POM file and place it here. You don't need to understand it. It's very easy to write. Even you can write it. All the snippets you'll get from the official websites and you add them here. That's all. But anyway, it's not relevant to you. It will have all the plugin and dependency information. Right? That's all. You don't need to worry. But you should you should check if it is present or not. It's there. That's all. Now, this is the repository I want to clone. I want to compile. So how to get the repository onto the server where I want to clone? Forget about Jenkins. First, let's learn Maven. Then we'll integrate it with Jenkins. So how to get the repository to this server?
Git clone.
Simply git clone. See, it's cloning into address book, which is a Java Maven app. So go here. See, you will see everything, form file, whatever we have seen there. Okay, .git, it's a local repository. Now, okay, fine. Now I have got it. Now I want to compile. Like I told you, the command is mvn compile. That's all. That will compile it. I'll just show you. See, whenever I told you, whenever you run the command, it will go to the POM file. So you should run this command only from the location of POM file. You cannot run it from wherever you know it. That's another important thing. What if I run here? See, it tells you the goal you specified. Like I told, this is the goal. The goal you specified requires a project, POM file. There is no POM in this directory. If this is your folder, where is POM file? Okay. So POM is like a heart for Maven. You should run any commands from the location where POM is. Here is the POM file. You should run the command from here. Because like I said, it goes to the POM file, fetches the information of the plugins, dependencies. It will download everything from the Maven central repository and it will use it. Right? Let us run this now. POM file I have. So mvn compile. See, it is downloading. Do you see here? Downloading repo.maven.apache. It will download all the plugins, all the dependencies it needs. Which plugins, which dependencies, that information is in the POM file. It will download from the Maven central repository and it will execute the task. For the first time when you run, it may take more time. Second time if you run, if it is the same POM file, like if there are no changes, it will use all of them from cache. It will not re-download, so that it saves a lot of time. That's how Maven, if you want to do it repeatedly, we can use Maven. Right? Let's see. See, it is showing compiling 13 source files. Do you see that? And it puts in this location. Generally, all the output would be in the target folder. Earlier, you may not have this target folder. In your repository, you don't have target folder if you see. Target folder will be created now when you run Maven to put, that's all predefined. I told you, right? Earlier, target is not there. Maven follows a particular directory structure. So it will compile all the source files. There might be 13 .java files which it has compiled. See here it was showing you. And it has placed the output here. And how much time it took? I'll go to this path later. How much time it took? 55 seconds. What if I rerun? Unless your POM is modified for new libraries or new plugins, it just took 2 seconds. That's another advantage of Maven. Now let's go to this target. In the same folder, it will create a folder called target classes. Again, there are some subfolders created. Right? Do you see .class files? .class files were generated. Understood now what Maven is doing, how Maven works. You don't need to know coding for this. We are not doing coding. We are just seeing compiling it. Clear?
Now, ma'am, one question.
Yes, please.
So these .java files are getting converted into compiled into .class file, right? So
Yes.
is this are from /src slash main or slash and also slash src slash test also?
These
Because
are
under
from
folder-
SRC folder, from SRC.
Okay, don't we need test files? I mean, test files also having.
That is when you do test, it will execute.
Oh, okay, okay. As part of the compile, those are not executed. Okay, got it.
If you go to SRC, here it is main, and go to Java, go to com. Where did I go? Is it in? I think I went into a wrong. These are the .java files. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, right? 8. Again, what's actually this is
Class
just
files are 10.
tutorial. Huh?
There are 10 class files.
10. Total 10 class files are there?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, class files are fine. I'm just checking how many Java files were there. Corresponding to it, you'll have a class file. See here. Case insensitive comparator, generic comparator. I think this is different, right? String. Okay, yeah, these are the same. See, string utilities. For every Java file, you will get a class file generated. I think for test also, it was creating the class files. For test folder also. Or else it might be in the next stage when it is tested. See, it all depends. We can also configure such a way that it will compile only the files in a particular folder, like compile or test and all. Right? It depends, like it depends on the stage. Here, if you want to compile, we are compiling whatever is in the source folder, SRC folder.
Okay.
Right? Once this
even compile, it will only look into slash source slash main. That's all.
source folder, yeah.
Okay.
So once it is compiled, like that's the first stage, it has got compiled. We can package it, or else if you want, you can review, or else you can add a, see, the stages in the pipeline, it's not mandatory you should have only these stages, right? The stages in the pipeline could vary, right? Like you may include review stage or any other stages. Here we are having unit test. Unit test means it will execute the unit test cases present in the test folder. This is let me go to home directory. This is the main folder. Now I want to execute the test cases. Right? Again, it will go to the SRC test folder and it will execute. And here you will see target already created when we compile it. Here it will have all the output. Even when you test, the test reports will be present here. We shall do the test tomorrow. Meanwhile, you install your Maven and do the compile. We'll execute test tomorrow. Any more questions? Understood the flow, what Maven does, what you should know as a DevOps person. You don't go and need to learn Maven or write POM file. No. Even goals will be provided by them. But you need to understand, okay, what is this goal doing? What is happening at the back end? If you have idea on this flow, it helps you to troubleshoot or work on the things more confidently. These goals will be provided by developers. Generally, developers does this. And as we go by, this is just to show you how Maven is working. We will even containerize these steps. Means developers will give you the Docker file or the container. You don't need to get into these details. But some projects, like where even DevOps person is doing all of that. So you may know, you should know what this Maven is doing. That's the reason for doing this. Any questions? This repository URL is present in the Google Drive as well. I'm also sharing it here with you. Okay, you can fork it and use it. I'm sharing it in the Zoom chat. You can fork it. And again, you may be having a question, do you need build automation tool always? Certain projects need build automation tool, certain projects doesn't need it. Why also I'll tell you. Okay, like which projects need it and which projects doesn't need this build automation tool. We'll discuss that. It's not mandatory every project uses build automation tool. Okay, when do you use it, when not, we will see that. But first, let's finish pipeline on this. We'll go for another application where you don't need build automation tool. Any more questions from anyone?
Two more questions in the source file. There is build.property file and build.xml. So whether these are related to the application that we are compiling or those are the additional files.
This might be related to the code, but this is not. If and they were using, they'll use this one. Depending on build automation tool, I told you different build files will be there, right?
Okay, you mean for Ant we uses build.xml.
Maybe it was working or not, I am not sure. Just they placed it. You don't need to go into this code or look in or understand all these files. Our interest is just to execute it through Maven goals. That's all. So as you have a weekend now, Saturday and Sunday, utilize some time, spend some time for learning, right? Go through the recordings, whatever pending you have, any incomplete things you haven't done hands-on, complete all of them, complete till this Maven part. Okay, we will step into the pipeline and the next steps from Monday. Also go through your quiz. Okay, complete all the incomplete things whichever there and get ready for Monday's class. All right then. Thanks everyone. Good day. See you all. Bye everyone.